So Lufthansa has given us yet another Airbus A350 in the Lufthansa livery. Are there any changes to the model and is it worth getting? We'll find out now. With that, welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an Airbus A350-900 of Lufthansa. At the front of the box we have a cutout so we can get a glimpse of the aircraft model inside, and at the top of the box we have the Lufthansa branding. Then on the back side of the box we have a very lovely rendition of the aircraft. I think that looks really astonishing, and that's about it for the back side of the box. So with no further ado, let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. So here she is, the Airbus A350-900 in the current livery of Lufthansa. Now let's get through this model and see if it has any improvements to its predecessor. And we start off with the tail section. We have the Lufthansa branding on the vertical stabilizer. In my opinion, the Lufthansa color here is still too dark, but it is very difficult to get right. On the fuselage, we then find the full registration code of the aircraft, the German flag, and the flag of the European Union. On top of the fuselage, we then also have this lovely addition of the set dome. And then on the horizontal stabilizer, this is a new little detail. We have some markings here, and that is something we didn't see with the previous version. And then we also have a little bit of detailing around the APU exhaust. At the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage, we then have the writing of Lufthansa. Underneath that, we have the aircraft type specification and the name of the aircraft. We do also have these small yellow boxes next to the cabin doors. That's, of course, the only part of the Lufthansa branding on the aircraft where we still have the original Lufthansa yellow. Next to the cockpit windows, we then also have the Star Alliance logo, of which Lufthansa, of course, is a founding member. And underneath the cockpit windows, we have the Lufthansa logo once more. The cockpit windows themselves are of course very recognizable on the A350 with the black markings around the edges of the windows. We do also here have the window wipers printed on, and above the cockpit windows we find the emergency hatch for the cockpit printed on as well. The engine nacelles have been kept in all white, just as most of the fuselage, but we do have the lovely silver leading edges. Overall, I think they are rather decently detailed, but a few markings here and there would have done wonders. And of course, if we look into the engines from the front, we can also very nicely see the engine fan blades. If we then move on to the wings, we can take a look at them here on the top side, where we can see all the different flaps, slats and spoilers carved out very nicely. We do also have the markings as to where to walk on the wing. The underside of the wings I think look okay, but it's definitely not a place where you find the most detailing. The wings also have these lovely winglets with the Lufthansa branding on them, and I think Herpa has done a very good job replicating that from real life into scale 500. Another place where we find a little bit of improvement from the previous version is the main landing gear here underneath the wings, and what has mainly improved here is that they are now using the latest version of that, where the wheels on the main landing gear are just a little bit wider, a little bit bigger, which reduces the distance between the wheel sets, and it just looks a lot better. The front landing gear is pretty much the same as with the previous version, and just as with the previous version, I'm just missing a few markings here. And then last but not least, we do of course also have the doors to the cargo compartments printed on here on the back side of the aircraft and here at the front of the aircraft. So there we have it, the latest version from Herpa Wings of the Airbus A350-900 in the current livery of Lufthansa. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Well, overall it is very much the same as the previous version, with two exceptions. We have a few markings on the horizontal stabilizer, which we didn't get with the previous version, and the landing gear, especially the main landing gear, has been updated to the latest version, which definitely looks better than the previously used landing gear from Herpa Wings. So if you have no A350 of Lufthansa so far, I would guess this is probably the best one, because it is definitely the most detailed and has the best detailing. The other reason would maybe be because you want to have a fleet of multiple A350s from Lufthansa and want to have it realistic, so each aircraft with a different registration code. But if you're just looking for a model of an A350, then I would say there's probably a few other choices with at least more spectacular liveries. So sure, it's an aircraft worth having in one's collection, but at least for me, it's definitely not the one I would say is the most exciting one. Now with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. If you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like, that would be very much appreciated. Of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. And with that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching, hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.